Wasabi Wallet. Unfairly private.
Spectre is a desktop software that allows you to import and interact with various hardware wallets, creating both single signature and multi-signature schemes to protect your Bitcoin in your own vault. Now, Spectre runs alongside Bitcoin Core as part of a setup with a full Bitcoin node and allows you to interact with the Bitcoin network in a secure way. Today, we're going to take a look at how to set up Spectre, how to utilize it, and how to recover multi-signature wallets if you delete them from your Spectre interface. I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Now, before we dive in, I want to give a shout out to sponsors of the show, LEDN.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin for a variety of different services. Now, I've been working with and using these guys for well over a year, and I just love the service. The first thing of theirs that I ever used was their Bitcoin-backed loans. And in my instance, I was in a pinch. I needed to get my hands on dollars, but I didn't want to sell my Bitcoin because one, that is a taxable event, and two, I was really worried that I'd have to buy back in at a higher price point. So here I was able to deposit my Bitcoin, get dollars to my bank account within 24 hours, and when I paid that back, I got back the exact same amount of Bitcoin. Now, they do have a couple other offerings here. They've got their Bitcoin and USDC savings accounts, which offer interest up to 11.7% annually paid monthly. And they've got their B2X offering, which uses the same loan mechanism to instantly buy more Bitcoin, effectively doubling your Bitcoin on the spot. So if you want to check them out, there's a link in the show notes down below. If you click that link and opt to get a loan, they will give you $50 worth of Bitcoin for free. Secondly, here, we've got the absolute legends over at Cloaks. I love these guys. I love what they're doing. A bunch of hardcore Bitcoiners bought some 3D printers and started pumping out awesome swag. And this is some of the coolest Bitcoin swag that I've seen out there. So they do a little bit of everything. They've got node covers. We're talking about running nodes and using the myNode for this episode. So they have covers for your node. They also have covers for hardware wallets. Like I said, we're going to be working for with a few different ones. They've got cases for those. They've got this Honey Badger shelving unit where you can actually store your hardware wallets, which I will have on my shelves in the near future. They've got Bitcoin sticker packs. They've got these cool little Bitcoin grenades, which make for great gifts. You can put open dimes loaded with Bitcoin on them as gifts for whatever, Christmas, stocking stuffers, whatever you use. Either way, these guys are pumping out incredible stuff on the regular, so do check them out. Also, if you want a discount, if you go and pick some stuff up, just use the code BTC Sessions and you will get 5% off anything you grab. And finally, of course, we have the Cobo Vault. We're going to be using this in the video today, along with a couple other wallets here. I love the Cobo Vault. I first did a full walkthrough of the current iteration just a little while back, did a full tutorial on it, and it's fantastic. I really love that everything here is 100% air gapped, meaning you never actually plug the device into the computer, potentially exposing your private keys to being stolen. So here, everything is done through QR code and you sign transactions. Everything is air gapped. You're never connected to an internet connected device. Also, they've of course got the secure element protecting your private keys. Their firmware is open source. And also, one of my favorite things about them is their interoperability with my other favorite wallets. You can, of course, interact with Bitcoin Core, Electrum on desktop, Wasabi, hands down my favorite desktop wallet, and Blue Wallet is my #1 most used mobile wallet. So to be able to utilize the Cobo in concert with all of those different options is incredible. So kudos to the guys at Cobo, and I highly recommend you check them out. And also, if you are interested, of course, they're doing a giveaway on the show for the next 3 months, so to the end of November. So all you need to do to get the Cobo Tablet Plus, which is a steel seed plate, you can secure the backup to your wallet in solid steel, meaning that it is resistant to both fire and water damage in case of flood. So if you want one of these, all you need to do is hop on Twitter, retweet today's show, and tag both myself and Cobo, letting us know why you want one of these. And I will be picking a winner for every show from now till the end of November. So with Spectre, there are a couple different ways with which you could deal with Spectre and utilize it. Option number one is downloading Bitcoin Core and running a full Bitcoin node on the computer itself, and then heading over to the Spectre website and downloading their desktop application. Now, the limitations of this may be in the hard drive size of your actual computer. So if you're running on a laptop and you don't have a ton of spare space, this may not be a good option for you. But if you're running on a desktop or you just have a ton of space on your laptop, then this shouldn't be a problem. So pretty much you download Bitcoin Core, you let it sync. It could take a while depending on the speed of your hardware. But then you download the desktop app. You can see I have it here on my desktop in my dock here, and it's currently running. And so when I open this up, all I really need to do is under preferences, it's going to ask whether you want to run a local Spectre server or a remote Spectre server. All you need to do if you're running Bitcoin Core on your computer already is you hit run local, you hit save, and as long as you haven't changed the location where Bitcoin Core is, it will auto detect where it is and you'll be off to the races right away with no need to change anything. Now, the other option here is to run it with something like myNode. And so I am running myNode. I've done a full video tutorial on that. You can head back and check that out if you are not currently running myNode and you'd like to. But basically, I've got a dedicated device on the shelf behind me that has its own storage and it runs 24/7. It's very lightweight, doesn't need a whole lot of tender love and care. It just kind of sits there and does its own thing, and I can connect different software to it as I need. And so in doing so, I do need to take a couple steps. So first off, here when you go to Spectre, you need to go to your preferences. And again, instead of hitting run local Spectre server, you're going to hit use a remote Spectre server, and you're going to put in this exact information on the screen right now. Now, I will put this in the details in the show notes, but basically it's https:// mynode.local and then :25441/. Okay, that is it. It will be, again, you can just copy and paste from the notes, but that's all you need to do there. And then you hit save and that will be saved. It's basically just telling Spectre to reference myNode instead of anything locally on the computer. Now, the second thing you need to do is when you go to myNode, and this is what the interface looks like, you head over to Spectre. And once you get into your Spectre interface, you're gonna have to go into settings and do a little something here, okay? And the reason for this is when you go to plug in a wired hardware wallet, like the one we're gonna be using in this instance, the Ledger Nano X, if Spectre is not running locally on your computer, like you're not running Bitcoin Core, it has trouble detecting the hardware wallet. So this is kind of like a bridge so that you can utilize it. Now, if you are using the Bitcoin Core route, then you won't have to do these steps. Just a heads up, okay? Anyways, you go to the settings in the top right. And then when you get in there, you're going to head over to a tab. Once it loads here, you're going to head over to HWI Bridge, or hardware wallet interface bridge. Okay, so when I click on that and it loads up momentarily, if I clicked on it, I think I did. Okay, there we go. You're going to put in exactly the same information listed here. I'm not going to read it out because it's just numbers. It's literally an IP address here, but you're going to type this in or paste it in, and you're going to hit save, and then you'll be off to the races. And this, again, just tells it tells the interface on Spectre here that you're referencing a remote node as opposed to something locally on the computer. Once that is all said and done, you should have no issue just plugging in your ledger and it seeing it. If you haven't done these steps, then when you go to plug in really any hardware device and try to access it via Spectre, if you're using myNode, it just won't see it. So you just need to do those two steps. But outside of that, those are the only additional steps that you will need to do if you're using myNode. Now with Spectre, it's important to note that there are kind of two main functions that you utilize in getting set up with your actual hardware wallets. Number one is actually importing the hardware wallets themselves so that Spectre knows more or less the public keys and all of the potential addresses that could be utilized when using that particular hardware wallet. From there, you can then create wallets to actually send and receive transactions from that wallet or from a combination of hardware wallets in a multi-sig setup. So the first thing we're going to dive into is just importing whatever hardware you're utilizing. And then after, we're going to set up wallets that we can actually interact with and create and receive transactions with. So today I'm going to be utilizing 3 different hardware wallets while putting together and interacting with the Spectre Desktop app. We're going to be utilizing the Ledger Nano X, and this one will be utilized as a wired hardware wallet. So we're going to be interacting directly with the computer utilizing a USB-C cable. Then we're going to be utilizing the Cobo Vault, and we're going to be using this one as an air-gapped solution. So only communicating via QR codes, meaning that your private keys are kept safely on this device and it is never plugged in any way, shape, or form. And then we're going to be utilizing the Coldcard. Now, the Coldcard could be either or. It can be wired into your computer via USB cable, or it can be done as an air-gapped model utilizing the SD card in the back. And that's the way we're going to be utilizing it, but just know you could do either or depending on your preferences. Now, it is important to note that all of these devices are already set up themselves. So I'm not needing to create private keys or anything on any of these. That has already been done. If you are unfamiliar with any of these hardware wallets, then I recommend that you first learn how to use them on their own before diving into using it with a setup like Spectre, because I won't be covering initial setup of the Ledger, the Cobo, or the Coldcard in this video, but I will link to tutorials to do such down below. So with that, let's dive in to how to set these up with Spectre. So first things first, how do we get to our Spectre interface? And that will depend on how you're running it. So if you are running it on your computer with Bitcoin Core and just the desktop interface, then all you're going to need to do is open up the app or go to the little tray icon here, and you're going to either open Spectre app or open in browser. So I'm going to utilize the browser for this. So if I hit open in browser, it will open up my Spectre app. Since I've already set it up with myNode, it'll just reference myNode in doing so. But if it's not set up that way, it will reference Bitcoin Core on your computer. Now, alternatively, I'll just close this one here. From the myNode interface, if that's what you're using, then you just go scroll down wherever it says Spectre here, you click on that button, and you will be bumped to the exact same page I was just on, and you are ready to get yourself set up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're first going to import our hardware. And I already have in front of me my Ledger Nano X, which is plugged in and ready to go. Let's just make sure that it does indeed focus on it. All right, so I have already put in my PIN code on the Ledger, but one thing we need to do is open the Bitcoin app by hitting both buttons. At this point, the application is ready, and we will be able to import it on the next screen. So up here on Spectre, you're just going to hit add a new device. From here, you get to name the device. So I'm gonna name it Nano X. You're going to select the type. It is a Ledger. Now, you could paste or load XPubs in here. We're not going to do that because it's wired and it'll be automated for us. And we're just going to look down here. We're going to get over USB. And this is the easy part. You hit the button. It's going to scan. Is this the one you want, Ledger? It sure is. I click it. It takes a second. There we go. Relevant information is then pasted in here. You don't need to do anything to do this. And then you hit continue. And there we go. And we have all the necessary keys and information is imported. There's actually 8 different keys that could be utilized. Spectre will in most cases, figure out what you need, where and when. And if you don't need any of these particular keys, you can always delete them individually, but that's about it. You can also forget the device if you choose to. If you no longer want to use it, that's fine too. But that's it for the Ledger Nano X. Let's move on to the next one. Up next, we have the Cobo Vault. So once again, I've got my Cobo Vault here already set up. All we're going to do in Spectre is we're going to hit Add New Device once again. Now at this point, you're going to name your device. So I'm just going to call it Cobo. And from the drop-down, you can select Cobo Vault. And now with the Cobo, you can do this a couple different ways. First, I'm going to show you on the device here how this goes. So if you're just importing a regular wallet, all you're going to do is from your main interface on the top right, the three little dots. If you hit that, you get a menu and you're going to hit Export Wallet. And you're going to get a QR code like this. However, I don't want to import a regular wallet. I'm actually importing a multi-sig wallet because we're going to be utilizing it for that later. So to get to multi-sig, all you need to do, the little menu, the sandwich button at the top left, you tap on that, then you go to Multi-sig wallet. At this point, same thing, three little dots at the top. And you're going to say show/export xpub. And that gives you a handy dandy little QR code here. And in Spectre, I'm going to choose scan. This is going to give me my camera. And once it scans, I can go ahead and hit continue. And there we go. We have a single key for SegWit multi-sig sitting there. So I've now imported my Cobo and my Ledger. Let's move on. Okay, so with the Coldcard, there are actually kind of two parts. We've got to get the necessary information off of the Coldcard into the SD card behind it, and then we've got to plug in the SD card to the computer to import the files that we've just created. So to create the files, first thing we're going to do a regular wallet and then a multi-sig one because they're a little different. Okay, so you're going to scroll down to the advanced section and select it. Then you're going to go down to micro SD card and select it. Then you're going to go down to Export Wallet and select that. And the type of file that Spectre actually deals with is Electrum. Okay, so you're going to select Electrum Wallet. It's going to say, hey, this is going to export keys so that you can utilize this as an air-gapped wallet. And we're going to say yes. And then it's going to ask you what type of wallet you would like. So there's legacy. Those are addresses starting with a 1. There is P2SH, which is pay to script hash. Those are addresses starting with a 3, or there's native SegWit, which is the most efficient way and lowest fees that start with BC1. I'm going to say native SegWit, and it's going to generate an export. Boom. And now that is on the SD card. So that is all done. And I'm just going to X out. I'm going to go back to the main screen so we can see how to get all the way back to doing a multi-sig wallet. So here we are on the main screen. Now I'm going to go down to settings. From here, I'm going to go down all the way to multi-sig wallets and select it. Then I'm going to go down to export xpub. And this creates a small file containing the extended public keys, so on and so forth, necessary to create or be part of a multi-sig wallet. And I'm going to hit yes. Boom, that has been written as well to the SD card. I can X out, if I please, all the way back to the main screen. And we're now done on the device. Let's jump over to the computer with the SD card taken out from here and plugged in. All right, we're back in Spectre now. I have put the SD card from the Coldcard into my computer. Again, we're going to go to Add New Device. We're going to name the device. I'm going to call it CC3 because I've got a bunch of Coldcards. Need to differentiate. Select type, Coldcard. At this point, we're going to hit Choose Files. and you would navigate to wherever your SD card is. It defaults to that on mine. I'm actually going to select both. So the new wallet one, this JSON file here, is the single signature one, and this one with the complex name is actually the multi-sig one. Not that it will matter when if you're importing both anyways. So I'm going to select both. I'm going to hit open. It's going to fill the necessary information here. You can see added 1 key and added 3 keys as the notification there. Those were my single sig, and then various options for multi-sig. Anyways, from there, all I have to do is hit continue. And boom, okay? So we can see single SegWit right here. That's my single signature for an option if I want that. And then I have multi-sig right here, all the different variations of multi-sig wallets I could put together. And so now we have officially imported all the devices that we need and that we're going to utilize for Spectre. So now that everything has been imported, we can go ahead and actually start creating wallets with the devices that we've imported. So we're going to start with the most basic, a regular single signature hardware wallet that is just wired into the computer. And so we're going to utilize the Ledger Nano X for that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add new wallet. Okay. At this point, we're going to select single key wallet. And it gives us the options of what's available to create a single key wallet. Now, if you remember, we did import a single Coldcard wallet. We also imported a single Ledger Nano X. We did not import the single Cobo. I showed you how you could do that, but we're going to be using the Cobo for multi-sig in a moment. So I'm just going to do the Nano X for now, and you can name it. I'm just going to say single Nano X, and I'm just going to hit continue. And at this point, it creates this wallet. It says, okay, we're going to use this key. It's going to be SegWit, which starts with a BC1 and gives us general information. That all looks good. You can also scan for existing funds. I know there's nothing on there right now, so I'm going to go ahead, hit create wallet. Gives us Pac-Man here as it creates the wallet. It'll just take a second, and then it should pop up. Here we go. Okay, so within the wallet, you see a few different things. You can see your previous transactions, of which, will there be any? No, because I haven't used this particular one. Okay, so there would be a list of previous transactions here. You have your receive screen, which gives you an address. You can label the address so that if you receive funds to it, maybe you are expecting from a particular entity, you can go ahead and do that. And then once this has been used, you can get a new address each time and label it as such. You can also hit the copy button if you'd like to paste in that address somewhere to receive. You can also display the address on your device if it's plugged in. As far as sending goes, there is a send screen, which gives you all of the usual fare. You can paste an address, scan an address, give it a label, say the amount, and even set fees, so on and so forth. And then there are also some other settings here from within the single sig. You can watch many different addresses. You can extend that if you think there's money sitting in further addresses. Yeah, a bunch of different options here. Yeah, and you can also export the wallet software, so on and so forth, or you can just fully delete the wallet if you don't care to use it. So we're just going to receive some money into this wallet. Now, off screen here, I have my blue wallet on my phone, which I've done a tutorial for before. Maybe I'll quickly try to show you what I'm doing with that. If my camera's at a decent angle, should be okay. So from within the wallet, all I'm going to do is down at the bottom, there is the send button. And that's going to give me my screen where I can hit scan. And I'm just going to scan the address on the screen. I can cross-reference it to make sure it's the same one sitting in Spectre, and looking at it, it looks good to me. And then I'm going to say the amount of Bitcoin or the amount in dollars or sats or whatever I want that I want to send. So I'm just going to send over 50 bucks, which ends up being what, 0.003 Bitcoin, however many sats that is. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Okay, that looks all good to me. I'm going to hit send now. Confirm. Okay, so that has been sent off, and we should have a balance in our ledger momentarily here. So I'm just going to head over to transactions. And there we go. We can see an incoming transaction. It is pending. As soon as that has confirmed on the Bitcoin network, we can send it back out, and we'll practice doing such when it's ready. So it's been some time now, and we have a confirmation on the transaction going into Spectre, specifically going into our Ledger Nano X here. You can see it's already got 7 confirmations here. So we're going to practice now sending it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the send screen here. This is going to give us a few options. We're going to first designate an address. Now we could copy and paste an address here, but actually I'm going to open up Blue Wallet on my phone to the receive screen so that I've got an address ready to send to. And I'm just going to hit scan here. There we go. And I just double check to make sure it's the same address on my phone and the computer. Looks all good. Now we can give this a label if we choose. I'm not going to for now. At this point, we're going to choose our amount. Now, I do not see a spend all button right now, which would be nice to have. However, if you hit advanced here, there is an option. So basically what you can do is you can say available funds. If you don't want to spend a specific amount, you can actually copy that number and then just paste it down here. And then you can say subtract fees from amount. So you are spending the total amount, and then any fees will just be dropped from this amount. So it's basically the equivalent of having a spend all button, but it would be nice to just have a general spend all or send max button available. Now for the fees, they can be dynamic. So you can say, well, whatever the fee is going to be to get it through in 6 blocks, and you can slide that up and down. I'm not super worried about it taking a long time, but maybe I'll find kind of middle of the road here. Or you can go to manual and you can set your Satoshis per byte right there. So for me, I'm just gonna, again, I'll pick that middle ground. Okay, and then all of that looks, you can also batch transactions. You can add another recipient, so on and so forth. Or you can select specific UTXOs if you choose to. I'm gonna just skip over that and just create the transaction. So I'm gonna go ahead, create. Now at this point, it says you're sending this much Bitcoin to this address. You can show further details if you choose. You can select how you're going to sign your transaction, and the Nano S is indeed plugged in here. So I'm going to select the Nano X, and I do need to enter a PIN code here. So I'll just do that off screen really quickly. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to hit sign with USB. And I should be prompted on the device shortly here. Oh, and then we have to select it on the screen here. Apologies. All right, so we're going to review the output. This much Bitcoin going to the following address. That all looks good. We accept with both buttons. And then, again, the fees that you'll be spending, accept with both buttons. Okay, transaction is ready to broadcast. So we can go ahead, we can save it as pending if we want to do it later. We could copy the transaction data. I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. Okay, and we can see it has gone out. And I will just double check on Blue Wallet here to see if there's an incoming. Okay, and I just got the notification here, and I can see, I'll just bring it in front of the screen for a second here, but I can see a new incoming transaction right here within Blue Wallet for the correct amount, and we're good to go. So that is how you set up and utilize a single-sig wallet, whether it be the Ledger, whether it be the Coldcard, or any other hardware wallet device. It's basically the same. You just import it, and then you send and receive as you normally would, and you sign it with the wired device. And now we're going to dive into multi-sig and using air-gap transactions in 2 different ways. Okay, so now we're into the meat of the thing. We are going to create our first multi-sig wallet using the devices that we have here and Spectre. Okay, so all we're going to do, again, we're going to go up to Add New Wallet. Here, we're now going to pick Multi-signature Wallet. And we're going to select the type of wallet and name it and pick basically all of the details. So this, I'm just going to leave it as multi-sig, but you could rename it. Now we can choose SegWit or nested SegWit. Nested SegWit are addresses starting with a 3. SegWit is starting with a BC1. As I said before, BC1 is more efficient when it comes to fees, and that's what I'm going to choose. Now it says you want your quorum, which is effectively how many devices are you going to use and how many do you need to officially sign and approve a transaction. We're going to be doing 2 of 3, and we already have the 3 devices we want set up here. So we're just going to select every one, 1, 2, 3, so they're highlighted, and then we're going to hit continue. Now at this point it says, okay, look, we're going to be using the SegWit key for multi-sig from each one, and it basically selects what you need. And if there were more options, you could specify which keys you want to use, but we're good to go. We're going to hit create wallet. And here we go. We've just created a 2 of 3 multi-sig using a Cobo Vault, a Coldcard Wallet, and a Ledger Nano X. The interface is exactly the same, at least initially. When dealing with it, you can see you have your list of transactions, your receive and send screen, and your settings. Now, we are not fully done here. We have a couple things to do, because in order to be able to actually sign and approve transactions with the Cobo Vault and the Coldcard, because these aren't connected to the computer and can't see the wallets that I'm creating with the 3 of them combined, we need to export that information to these air-gapped wallets. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to head over to the settings tab here. And so first, I suppose we will deal with the, where are we? Okay, there we go. Cobo. Okay, so we're going to deal with the Cobo first. So it says show, this is export to device, import this wallet to a device by scanning its QR code or importing its data file. So here, if we hit show Cobo QR code, we see this QR code, and it's an animated. It can be a single, just a frozen one, which has a lot of data and might be more difficult to scan, or if you click, it will animate, and so it gives the information in 3 pieces. And so when doing that, I'm going to first open my Cobo here. I'm going to go to the top left, the little sandwich board here, and hit multi-sig wallet. And then in my selections down below, it says import multi-sig wallet. I'm going to click that, or tap on it rather. And in the top right, so you have the option of doing this with SD card or scanning it. Scanning it here in this case is much quicker. So I'm going to open my camera in the top right, and now I can just scan this on screen. Okay, and so it's just telling me to quickly check the wallet info. And it tells me all about who the co-signers are, all the address types, the wallet types, 2 of 3, and I can check that with what I have actually set up here in Cobo, or in the Spectre app. But everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead on the Cobo and just hit confirm. And I can see import successful, and at this point I can now utilize the Cobo to see and approve transactions when ready. Okay, so the Cobo is now set up. We need to now do the same thing via SD card for our Coldcard. So at this point, we're going to scroll down, and we see on the same screen here, download CC3 file, which is the name of our Coldcard. Okay, so I've now downloaded that. And you can see it just downloaded to my downloads folder here as multisig.txt. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull that onto my SD card. So I'm just going to pull that onto, let's go over to this screen here. So I'm just going to, so you can see what I'm doing. Here's the SD card, and here's my downloads folder. Okay, so Multisig, I just need to get this onto my SD card. So I'm just going to drag it over. Now I can see multisig.txt. And at this point, I can actually eject my SD card. And then the rest of it will be done on the Coldcard. And so we'll hop over there right now. Okay, so I put the SD card into the Coldcard. It's ready to go. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to settings. I'm going to go all the way down to Multisig wallets. And then I'm going to go down one option and I'm going to click import from SD. Okay, it says there is only one file to pick from, but if there were multiples, I could select which, but I'm going to go ahead. Multisig.txt, the exact one that we pulled over. Check mark. Now it says create new multisig wallet, multi-name, and it gives the name of it, so on and so forth. Policy is a 2 out of 3, and it gives me all the details about the cosigners, just like with Cobo. I'm going to hit the check mark. Boom. And I now have a multisig wallet under my multisig menu here on my Coldcard, and this enables me to sign and approve transactions if they're ported over via SD card from Spectre. Okay, so now we're all set up. All of our devices, including the Cobo, including the Ledger, and including the Coldcard, are all set up and ready to go, as well as our Spectre app on the desktop. All right, now that we have this all set up, I am on the main screen of my multisig wallet. So it's selected over here on the side. I've tapped on the receive tab here, and we have a receiving address. So at this point, I can open up, I have Blue Wallet right here, and I'll just kind of, again, offhand, hit the send so you can see. I'm gonna scan the QR code on the screen. Got it there. I can compare the wallet addresses, but again, I'll just do, it's easy for me to choose dollars. So I'm going to send over 50 bucks and I'm going to get next. Okay, it gives me my transaction data. I'm sending $50 or this amount of Bitcoin to this address. I'm going to go ahead and hit send now and confirm. There we go. We can see it sent off. All done. Ready to go. If I go and navigate over to transactions here in Spectre, then I can see an incoming transaction. And when that's confirmed, then we can get into the thick of how to send and approve a multisig transaction in Spectre here. So we can see here now that the transaction has a single confirmation. It is now spendable. So we're going to head over to the send screen here on our multisig wallet. Once there, we are going to designate where is this going. So again, we could paste in an address here, but we're actually, I've got my Blue Wallet open here to the receive screen with an address. So I'm just going to hit scan. There we go. Okay, and I just cross-reference to make it the same. Looks all good. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to send out all of the funds. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it here. Again, you could designate any amount that you preferred, and you can do it in sats or BTC. I'm going to subtract fees from this because I'm sending all of it. And confirmation time, again, I'll kind of go somewhere middle ground there instead of setting it manually. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to create an unsigned transaction. So everything pretty much the same as Single-sig up till now. This is where things get a little bit different. Okay, so you're sending this much Bitcoin to this address. You need 2 signatures. Right now we have 0 of 2. Okay, so You've already seen me sign a transaction with the Nano X, so we're not going to do that right now. We're going to utilize the two air-gapped methods to finish this transaction here. So first, we're going to go ahead with the Cobo because that's just going to be, we're going to sign with QR codes. So with the Cobo, now I've done a video on the Cobo before, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to open it up. Okay. Now, you need to make sure you're in your Multisig wallet so that you go to the sandwich board on the top left, make sure Multisig is selected. Okay. Now, all we're going to do is there's a QR code on the screen. And so in the top middle, there's a scan button. Okay. We're going to scan that QR code with the device. Now, if it has a hard time scanning, you can, as before, click to animate, and it makes it a little bit easier. There's less dense information there, and I can see that that worked much better. Okay, so it says here, okay, you're sending this much to the following address with the following fee. That looks good. I'm going to hit the sign button. Okay, I need to enter my password, so I'm going to go ahead and do that just off screen. Okay, I can see that it is successful. And now this is the signed approved transaction. So at this point, I have all the information for the transaction, where it's going. My device with the keys on it has approved it. I need now to convey that signature to our Spectre desktop. So I'm going to click Scan Signed Transaction. And there we go. You can see that it's now adjusted and says we've acquired one of two signatures. So there we go. We've got signature number one. And next, we're going to use the Coldcard. Now, if I had it plugged in, I could sign this way. Technically it is, but we're going to pretend that we're just doing this fully air-gapped, which we kind of are. We're going to sign with SD card file. Okay. So what we need to do here is we're going to download the transaction first. Okay, I've just downloaded that to my downloads folder, but let's just jump over here just so you can see what I'm doing. Here's my SD card. These are a bunch of the things that we've been dealing with previously. And here's my downloads folder. Okay, so this is the transaction right here. I'm going to pull it over, PSBT, that's what we're looking for, okay? And now this is on my SD card. So what we're going to do is we're going to eject the SD card and we're going to sign it with the Coldcard here. So we'll jump to that in just a moment once I get the SD card into my Coldcard. Now with the SD card in your Coldcard, pretty simple. It's the first option as soon as you're on the main screen of your Coldcard. It's ready to sign. You're going to check that one. It will check the SD card for any possible transactions to sign. Since there's only one, it'll bump right into it. But if you have multiple options, then you may need to select the correct one. But I select ready to sign, reading, validating, and it just double checks what I'm doing. Okay, now it says I'm sending this much Bitcoin to the following address. And that is the fee. Press OK to approve and sign the transaction, and X to abort. So I'm going to hit yes. Signing. Okay, partially signed Bitcoin transaction, updated. And I can see the file on the SD card is going to end with part.psbt. So I'll just take a look for that in a moment. So I can get out of here. Take this SD card out, and we'll jump back to the computer in just a second. Back on the computer here, we're on the exact same screen we just left. We're going to click on Upload Signed Transaction. And again, we're going to jump over to the SD card, and we're looking for the one that ends with part PSBT. We're going to hit Open. Okay, so now we can see in the background here, acquired 2 of 2 signatures, so we have everything we need. Now, this could have been done in any combination. I could have used the Ledger and the Coldcard and the Cobo and the Ledger. Whatever you want, doesn't matter, as long as you get 2 of the 3, okay? Now, all we need to do, we can save the transaction data, whatever we want to do, or we can just go ahead, we're going to send. That's all I want to do here. Send transaction. Boom. It is sent off. We have officially signed, fully air-gapped, might I add, our transaction out of our multi-sig wallet. And I can see here I'm getting a notification on my phone for an incoming transaction. Let's head over to it. Should refresh here just momentarily. There we go. There it is. There's our transaction sent to us via multisig back into Blue Wallet. Very cool. Very happy with this setup on Spectre. A lot of versatility here. So very, very excited about what has happened here with Spectre. Do recommend you check it out. But we're not done. You gotta sit down with Uncle Ben here, and we're gonna do some explaining about proper backups when it comes to backing up your multisig. Okay, so this is a very important bit, and it has to do with how you actually back up your multisig wallet in Spectre, or really in any multi-sig setup that you may have, because it is quite different from a regular single signature hardware wallet. So, you know, for instance, if you had something like a Ledger or whatever, and you were using it just as a regular, okay, I'm going to sign with one device and that's it, and that's where the addresses come from, all you really need there is your backup phrase, your 12 to 24 words, depending on the device. With multisig, it is very different. The reason is you're combining bits of information from every single device, in this case, 3 different devices, and you're creating a vault from that information. So the best way I like to think of it is it's kind of like the 3 devices, the information coming from it creates a map to get to your vault, as well as the keys necessary to open the vault. Okay, and so we've created a vault here that requires 2 keys of a possible 3, but those 3 keys have made the map to get to the vault. What you need to know is, as a backup, if you have the wallet working on your computer and set up, and you only have 2 wallets, 2 devices, then it's fine. You can send money out, no problem. And if you don't have access to the 3rd one, it's not a big deal. However, if you lose the wallet sitting on your computer gets wiped, whatever, you don't have access to that wallet in the first place. You either need a file, a backup that you've exported from Spectre to re-access that vault, which I'll show you how to do in a moment, or you need not 2, but all 3 of your devices, or the backups for said devices. So your 12 to 24 words for every single device, not just 2 of the 3, all 3, because you need to, without the backup file that you're about to get right now, without that file, you need to recreate the map to your vault. It doesn't matter if you have enough keys to unlock the vault. If you don't know how to get to it in the first place, that digital map you created, the keys are now useless. So keep in mind, again, just to reiterate, you either need the backup with at least 2 keys to unlock your funds, or if you don't have the backup and you don't have a wallet sitting anywhere, you need to recreate your vault with all 3 devices. So be careful, a little bit different than normal. Let's take a look at where to get that backup, and let's see how to actually import it and restart your multisig vault with it. Okay, so to get the backup file of your multisig wallet, all you're going to do is, with multisig selected in the top left, you're going to go over to the settings tab. We've been in here before. If you scroll down, you can see where we exported this particular wallet to our Coldcard and our Cobo. Well, just below that, you see export wallet software. And all you're going to do is you're going to hit that export button, and you're going to hit download wallet file. And this will download to your computer. Now, it's best to, assuming this is sitting on your computer itself, to take that file, put it somewhere else, put it on like an SD card or anywhere that is accessible outside of wherever the main wallet is being held, so that if something happens, like a fire where your computer is destroyed, you still have reference to that wallet, and you can utilize your hardware wallets to reconnect with your funds and move them. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to delete this wallet. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit delete. Takes a second to wipe everything here. Okay, so to get the backup file of your Multisig wallet, all you're going to do is, with Multisig selected in the top left, you're going to go over to the Settings tab. We've been in here before. If you scroll down, you can see where we exported this particular wallet to our Coldcard and our Cobo. Well, just below that, you see Export Wallet Software, and all you're going to do is you're going to hit that export button, and you're going to hit Download Wallet File. And this will download to your computer. Now, it's best to, assuming this is sitting on your computer itself, to take that file, put it somewhere else, put it on like an SD card or anywhere that is accessible outside of wherever the main wallet is being held, so that if something happens, like a fire where your computer is destroyed, you still have reference to that wallet and you can utilize your hardware wallets to reconnect with your funds and move them. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to delete this wallet. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit delete. Takes a second to wipe everything here. Now that this wallet has been deleted, we can see it's no longer there. We just have our single Ledger Nano X wallet. So this is how you would import the wallet. It's pretty simple. You just hit add new wallet. You're going to hit import wallet software. You're going to choose the file, and it was in my downloads folder anyway, so I'm going to select Multisig. All good. We're going to hit continue. It's going to say, hey, look, we found that these following devices are associated with this wallet. That all looks good to me. I'm going to hit import. And I can see wallet imported successfully, and there it is. Now, there was an option on the previous screen where you can check to rescan the blockchain to see any previous funds. Not a bad idea to do, but if you forget to do that, you can go back into settings here, and partway down the screen, you can see rescan blockchain. You can hit rescan and it'll double check, are there any funds sitting in this wallet? If so, it'll show that history and so on and so forth. But that's how you re-access your wallet. Now, alternatively, if you wanted to recreate this wallet from scratch, you could, again, if you had no Spectre, you were doing like absolutely nothing from scratch, you could import all of these wallets in the exact way that you did before, and then create a multi-sig the exact same way you did, and then tick the little box to rescan the blockchain for funds, and everything should be accessible again. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you're here on YouTube, please do hit like, subscribe, and share. All of those things really do help, so please do them. If you want to help out the show in another way, you can always hit up these sponsors I mentioned down below. Those were LEDN, those were Crypto Cloaks, as well as Cobo. And don't forget to retweet the show and let us know if you want one of those steel seed plates. And finally, if you really liked what you saw, if you really loved this tutorial and it helped you in some way, consider dropping me a Bitcoin Lightning Network tip at my tippin.me page. That is tippin.me/@BTC sessions. And with that, I'm out. Again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wherever you are, and I will see you next time for your daily session.